Welcome back to Bear With Me. The Boston Bruins are now 8-9-3, which is good enough for 4th in the Atlantic, 8th in the Eastern Conference, and I think 17th in the National. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll jump in with my signature Rob line. It doesn't matter.
Simply doesn't matter. My name is Joey Copponi. That's Rob Tocci. Rob, how you doing, buddy?
Not great. How are you doing?
Like, very good, dude.
Good.
One of the best days of my life, dude. I'm doing so good. We're brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network. I'm brought to you by Game Time Tickets, the best place to buy tickets online to sports, concerts, all your favorite events. Maybe you want to go spend $22 to go to the TD Garden and watch the Boston Bruins lose 8-1 to the Saugus Pee Wee B team. Holy shit, what's going on? What the fuck?
I don't even know. We're so past diagnosing this team. It's just everybody. It's all the time. It's everything. There's no consistently redeemable part of this team, to the point where I feel like we just have to jump right into some massive change needs to happen, and it's going to be Montgomery getting fired.
Yeah.
It's going to happen at this point. I think we're past the point where I think that's what's happening next. It's going to happen now.
You think it's foregone?
I think it's very possible that next time we record an episode, the Bruins have a new head coach. They don't play till Thursday.
Percentage-wise, by the end of the month, we're recording November 18th.
70%.
70% by the end of the month.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm there, but partly I think it's because of what I personally, on the sidelines here, think is best for the team versus what they are going to do. It's hard to separate those two things to me, to be like, I don't think that it's a magical fix to fire Jim Montgomery and the team is suddenly good. But I have a tough time. I have a tough time getting inside the heads of the Bruins front office to know whether or not they pull the trigger on that right now. It certainly wouldn't shock me, nor should it anybody, if it happens tomorrow. But I mean, what they're doing is just absolutely ridiculous. I saw some people blaming personnel, blaming the front office, blaming this person, blaming that person. The Bruins spend up to the cap every fucking year. The Bruins acquire free agents. The Bruins sign their franchise players. There is exactly one example of the time they didn't do that, and it was because the kid who had disciplinary issues was fucking his teammate's wife. That's about the only time that I can think of in this team's recent history that they haven't locked up a strong young guy for below market value. This is simply not a front office problem. Look at the St. Louis Blues. We look at them and we still think about 2019 and shake our fist at them. Look where they are. They are at the bottom of the league. The Pittsburgh Penguins, bottom of the league. Chicago Blackhawks, bottom of the league. Canadiens, bottom of the league. Sharks, bottom of the league. Predators, bottom of the league. All of these teams are big market. Well, I guess not the Sharks. Big market teams that have a history of winning, a history of being in the playoffs, and a time came where they stopped doing that and stopped being contenders. The Bruins are not that. The Bruins have been contenders regularly for a long time. That is not a front office philosophy problem, a spending problem, a talent assessment problem. They were the best fucking hockey team the NHL's ever seen 2 goddamn years ago. This is not a problem with acquiring talent. There's something internal going on. They're just off. They're just off. Nobody looks like themselves. Is that usually something that you would put on a coach? Yes. I think it's, if you have to pick, is this Sweeney and Cam, or is this Montgomery? You got to look at the coaching. They gave you a good team. Everybody thought they were going to be a better team out of the gate, and they have pooped themselves kind of over and over again and just looked worse and worse and more dejected, and the pressers suck. it's a mentality thing. I would think above anything else.
I agree. And I agree that I don't think the front office is to blame here. If you are reaching back to the 2015 draft to try to justify what's going on in 2024, the year of our Lord, shut up. Like, they could have drafted a dynasty, and they could have drafted McDavid somehow, some way. We could play that game all fucking day. It doesn't matter. Oh my God, just shut up. Like, it's a decade later. It's a decade later. It doesn't matter.
It's so hard for me to not like fly off the handle about this argument because it's like a few people that have said it, but it's like since then. They've been to the Stanley Cup final game 7, and they've been the best NHL regular season team of all time, and have been in the playoffs since 2015. I don't know, 7, 8 times. They missed twice.
They missed 15.
So once. Was it just the once?
It's 8 years in a row. No, because they missed 14. They missed 15 and 16.
Yes,
or 14 and 15. 15.
They've either missed once or twice since that draft.
They missed 15 and 16.
Okay, 8 years in a row since then.
Yeah, 8 years.
I think they're fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a nail in this one, Rob. I think any damage that the 2015 draft did, I think they've negated it. I think it's gone. So pointing to anything other than something going on with this team is just wrong, because out of the gate, everybody had them as a favorite, not a favorite, but a strong contender. And when you assess the talent and say, it's going to be a really good team, and then that team isn't good, you can't retroactively be like, well, where's their personnel? Why didn't they have the right guys out there? They do. They have all the guys. What's up?
Yeah, Rob Tocci, bear with me. Question for you, or statement rather. To continue saying, I don't blame the front office. I think at this point, yes, Montgomery's going to get fired, for better or worse, for right or wrong. It's his team going out there and shitting the bed night after night. It doesn't matter. You're in charge of that team, and that team's terrible. It falls on you. It doesn't have to be your fault for it to still fall on you. It's just the way she goes. I feel more recently, if I had to really point my finger somewhere specifically, it would probably be the leadership on this team. To have so many nights where you're not just losing, but you're giving up well before those 60 minutes are over, and you're not finishing back checks, and a lot of it's coming down to effort, and they're failing the eye test a lot. And I think that more directly falls on the leadership on the team than it does Montgomery. Like, I'm kind of upset with Marchand as the captain right now, specifically because, like, how are you letting this happen? Like, again, it's not like, how are you letting people not score a goal every night? Like, no, like, that's obviously not up to you. But, like, when it comes down to compete level and consistency and effort, there are things that are within your power as the captain or assistant captain. And I think you're the first in line to blame, but I think Montgomery is going to take most of that heat. But it sucks watching them. It doesn't just suck to watch them lose the game, but watching them is terrible. They're bad during the game. It is not a good product right now. They are not an entertaining team by any means. They're an infuriating hockey team. And I don't know. My fingers kind of pointed to the people with the letters on their chest right now.
There was a sequence in the first period. Puck was in the corner in the offensive zone. Bruins lost the puck battle along the boards. 2-on-1 lost the puck battle. Puck went behind the net, behind the opposing net, to which Morgan Geekie responded and engaged in another board battle, where Morgan Geekie lost the board battle to a man on his ass. And then the puck went down the other end, and Nikita Zadorov lost a board battle one-on-one with a guy he probably has 100 pounds on. And Swayman had to make a short side save on like a wraparound attempt. And then a scrum breaks out. And scrums, fights, chippiness are like the one like saving grace in hockey, where if things aren't going your way, if your team's losing, hey, you got to see your guy pound someone's face in, and yeah, you got your blood pressure up a little bit. I saw them, shoving in front of the net. My gut response was like, fuck you guys. I was like, you don't get to be mad. You don't get to be, you guys are sucking right now. Like, if you're trying to fire yourselves up, like, go for it. But like, you're getting in close to my goalie. Zaddy, you let him walk in there. He's half your size. You let him get there. The puck is down in your end because you lost a puck battle to a man sitting down. And they're the Columbus literal Blue Jackets. The blue coats, you're losing to the coats. It's not a matter of like, well, I can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and like fight hard. They look bad. Like they're playing bad hockey. And I know, like, I don't disagree with you that, like, yeah, the compete level isn't there. They look dejected. Monty even pointed it out in his last presser. They're like, guys are coming to the bench, like shoulders down and like bringing each other down and whatever. But like at a certain point, it's like, do the things that you know how to do. You know how to do these things. Like you guys are handpicked by a prestigious organization to like do the thing that you do. Do it. Just do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. And just they're borderline refusing to. If you had the lower on David Pasternak's shots tonight on Prize Picks, coupled with the under on Bruins goals, lower on Bruins goals, you probably made out like a damn thief tonight over on Prize Picks.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. They got over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, so you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up 100 times your cash. Your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get into the action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay even if one of your players gets hurt or injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and give $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it's guaranteed. Think Steph Curry will get more than 4 3-pointers this week, or Anthony Edwards more than 27 points? Cook up some hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season. Get your crew to run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And, some of the Prize Picks you could be looking at: Luka Doncic for more than 31.5 points, Steph Curry for more than 4 3-pointers, Anthony Davis more than 11 boards, the freak Giannis for more than 29.5 points. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Bruins are off tomorrow. Tomorrow being Tuesday. No practice. All right. I want to talk about the Boston to Providence train right now.
Yeah.
All right. So it's kind of started with Patra getting sent down to Providence, and I justified it. And I was like, not playing his best hockey, long-term development, get him the ice time, get the conditioning going, big fish, small pond, blah, blah, blah. Then Patrick Brown comes up. And I don't hate Patrick Brown. I know a lot of people do, but like I see his value. I get it. And especially in Providence, I get it. Like a leader. Probably not the guy you call up. And Tufte also comes up. And I've been on record. I do not like Riley Tufte on this team. I don't think he does nearly enough to justify getting called up at all. Never mind even being here in the first place. And Merkulov also comes up, and I do like Merkulov. I do appreciate Merkulov in the lineup. I think he is adding something. I think he has an offensive upside that is important for this team to hold on to right now. But what I don't get is when you are struggling in so many ways, but more specifically offensively, when you just cannot score goals at all, like even your elite goal scorers cannot score goals, and you call up Jeffrey Veal, baby cow.
Vile.
Vile.
Why am I messing?
I don't know.
Veal.
And clearly called out to be like, you're the spark. Get him going. Fight 2 minutes into the game. Big hits. Lots of in the scrums. Getting involved. He's doing what he was supposed to do when they called him up. But why are you calling up that guy? Why are you not calling up a goal scorer? You got Mark McLaughlin, who has goals in 5 straight games in Providence. You have better offensive options hiding out in Providence than Jeffrey Veal. Like, I don't know. Matthew Patra. Like, at what point do they just say, you know what, we kind of need you more than we did a week ago, I guess. Come back up, please. I'm my head has been scratched often this last week about the decisions on who they're calling up and who they're sending down. So as frustrated as I am with the team on the ice, and as much as I think Montgomery is probably going to get fired, I guess my question would be, who is making those decisions? Is that Montgomery in Sweeney's ear being like, this is who I want, this is who I don't want? Whoever it is, whoever's making those decisions, I strongly disagree with them for the most part.
It's Montgomery, but it's the actions of a panicked head coach. It's throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks because you know you're fucked. And it's just a tale as old as time. It's just these kind of actions are just exactly what a coach in his position does. Just go, fuck, I don't know. Veal, I don't know. Yeah. Insert some toughness, some juice. Get the team juiced. Yeah. That'll Patrick Brown. Yeah, those fourth line guys have been given a spark. He can be like one of them. He'll learn from Koepke and them, and he'll just it's panicked. It looks bad. I also want to read this just from the post game. Brad Marchand. This is really riveting stuff. So please put your listening ears on. This is a big quote. Brad Marchand, quote, "Definitely not happy with the way things are going. We need to be much better in a lot of areas. It's not acceptable to continue to have the same mistakes and do the same things over and over." End quote. Yeah.
I was going to say that I'm now at a point where I don't give a shit what they have to say post game because it doesn't matter to me. Like I know what they're going to say. Like, we have been good enough. We got to be better. We will be better. It's like, cool. Go do it. Like it's been weeks of this. It's like, I know what you're going to say. It's fine. Like I don't believe any of it right now.
Yeah.
A lot of Friedman. Sorry, go ahead. You go.
Elliot Friedman reported recently that the Bruins are, quote, out there trying to see if they can do something to shake things up.
Yeah, they want a power forward.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist right now. At least not one that any team is willing to part with. So cool. I would also love to, you know what? Get those tires, bring them home, Don. Bring them home. I genuinely would take Taylor Hall back because he just got healthy scratch and he was blindsided by it. There's been a lot of talk about him wanting to get out of Chicago. So he liked his time in Boston, seemingly. He wanted to play here to begin with. Wouldn't hate it. I mean, it's no single thing is going to fix this team. So what you're talking about with if they fire Montgomery, it's not like that's it and the team is put back together. But you got to do something, right? You got to do something. And it just feels like they're not doing anything other than I don't know, let's take Koepke out of the lineup for some reason. It's what? Koepke? The guy that's arguably one of your more consistent players for filling his role? Nearing the top of the number 4 goal scorer on the team, Cole Koepke? We're taking him out for Jeffrey Veal to get into a fight? Okay. And then not really throw a punch in the fight? Okay. This is just a very annoying hockey team, and I'm not loving it. I'm not McLoving it.
Montgomery on Swayman said, quote, "I don't think missing training camp helps anyone. That's why it's training camp. But by no means do I think today is Jeremy Swayman not having training camp."
Did you also, off of that, did you see the comments? I think it was Freeman also saying about like internally, the team is still like reeling from the Swayman negotiations. Like that is still very much affecting them.
I don't know what that means. Who is reeling? The players?
Like that was my impression of what he was saying.
The players should be stoked. Their boy got paid. They're all still there.
Maybe it means more about like how it got handled than the fact that it happened, like the way that Neely like had to put him on blast, and maybe they don't love that or what. I'm guessing. Like so don't get too mad about what I'm guessing, but
I don't know. I just have a tough time of believing that like sitting on the bench down 2-1, they're like, man, I can't believe Cam really called out Sway. Like,
yeah, lingering hard feelings about public Swayman negotiations.
Sure, I bet they aren't stoked about it.
Yeah, recovering.
Swayman also stinks right now.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. How somehow Korpisalo is their best goaltender.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the updated Jeremy Swayman numbers after tonight. I don't think that these are going to be up to date, but let me pull them up. Yeah, Korpisalo is well above Jeremy Swayman in every category. In goals against, Korpisalo is rocking a 274. Swayman with a 335 and an 888 save percentage compared to Korpisalo's 901. Jeremy Swayman in the eights.
Yeah, I think they
next to Connor Ingram and Vanacek.
It's actually even lower because I'm looking at the updated ones and they got worse. So his goals allowed went up, his save percentage went down.
You're looking at the updated ones?
Yeah, I believe so, because mine are different than yours. I'm looking at a 347 and an 884.
884. That would have him below Aiden Hill and above Justice and Noonan.
A name we all know.
Yeah, the backup in Colorado.
Yeah, there's just so much going on that, like, again, like, I don't know what needs to happen, but whatever it is going to have to be pretty fucking big. Do you think Montgomery's coaching on Thursday? Do you think something going to happen that soon?
I mean, my gut says no, but one iota of logic says losing on home ice to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who before tonight were, what was it, 1-6-2 on the road?
1-6-2 on the road.
That's
and
like
I think the one win was like the first road game, so I think they were 0-6-2 for their last 8.
Like I said, my gut says no, but if there was ever a time, that's enough of a reason to be like, look, this is fucked. Like, the guys look terrible, and they didn't just lose.
They got beat.
They got beat. They now have the very worst goal differential in the Atlantic, second worst in the Eastern Conference, second only to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Dude, the last 3 games, just look at the last 3 games. You get blown up by the Stars 7-2. And then didn't they give up a 2-goal lead against St. Louis to lose that game?
Yeah.
And then you lose 5-1 on home ice to the fucking Columbus Blue Jackets. No, I was wrong. It was St. Louis scored, Bruins are up 2-1, and then they lost.
Tied for the longest losing streak in the National Hockey League right now with the 5-10-4 San Jose Sharks.
Excellent. Good company.
Mm-hmm.
Pastrnak, no shots on goal tonight also against Columbus.
Yes.
That's what we pay him, boys and girls. That's why we pay him. I will say, I thought Tyler Johnson looked pretty good, which is something. You don't even want to talk about it, do you? You don't even want to.
No.
Okay.
That was really hard for me to no, that was the most effort I could give you was, yep.
Yeah, no, I noticed him a lot in a lot of good ways.
Yeah.
And I'll say Merkulov too. I noticed him in a lot of good ways too.
Yeah. I think Merkulov, here's a take. You can take this out of context, make a quote card out of this. Georgi Merkulov might be what we thought Fabian Lysell would be.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I don't think I've seen enough from either of them to confidently say that, but
I'm just saying something hot takey.
fair.
Our editor, take that out of context.
Cut that.
Yeah, clip that, please.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, you call up a guy like Merkulov with such an offensive upside, a goal scorer, and like you put him on the third line. It's like we're not at a point where like we can't disrupt the chemistry. It's working too well. It's like you could fucking put him on the top line, please do. Joe,
I'm sorry. Do you know the Winnipeg Jets record right now?
yeah, they're 15-3-0. And what's embarrassing is at one point it was 15-1. Yeah, I try not to look at the teams who are doing too well because then I just get sad.
They were 15-1.
Yeah, they're on a 2-game lose streak.
They're 15-3 on a 2-game lose streak.
What a bunch of bums. Are we still in play? The Bruins are still in a playoff spot.
Yeah.
That says more about the rest of the league, I think. It's like, is everybody stuck right now?
They've also played a lot more games than
That's
the people
true.
behind them.
Yeah,
so
we really
the
have.
Senators, Flyers.
We played the most games in the Atlantic Division right now.
There, and they've played 2 or 3 games less each.
One of 3 teams to have played 20 or more games. So, woo. Yeah, yeah.
You guys want to go to these games?
Do you want to fucking go? Do you want to?
You want to go?
If you did, they're pretty cheap.
They're really cheap, and you can save $20 more if you're a first-time customer with code CLNS on use it.
Game time.
There's nothing like seeing a game live. I mean, watching it on TV is great. We have all the technology. We have our phones. We have access to everything. But being there in person is definitely the way to go. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
What?
It's an excellent tweet. The Eric Andre shooting Hannibal Buress meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Bruins shooting the Bruins, and it says, "Why would Potter do this?"
It's good.
I bought a subscription to watch AHL games so I could watch Matt Potter play for the Providence Bruins.
I saw that you did that.
I did do that.
Matt Poitras is not a prospect. He's an NHL player that's just there for some reason. It doesn't fix the team by any means. I'm not sitting here being like, why the fuck is he there? This is why we're losing. It's just frustrating when you like a player and when a guy is putting in the work and doing what he's supposed to be doing and he's just not being rewarded for it. So, like, I don't know. You pointed it out during the game, but like that Monty line, but like him just not working the system well. It's like the system getting your dick kicked in by the Columbus Coats? Like, is that the system?
Yeah, I texted you during this game. I was like, thank God Matt Potter's not playing. Imagine how much worse it would be.
Oh yeah, terrible. I texted you that I knew it was bad because I was getting mad at Andy Brickley.
Yeah. I was like, about what? And you're like, he's saying things. And
I said, just shut up. That's what. That's what.
Mad.
Just talking.
He was the first voice you heard. That's why you're pissed off at.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting there. I don't know. It was like the end of the first, and he was like, "Well, the Bruins got a lot of scoring chances in this period. It's got to go out and finish." And I was like, "Shut up, Brick."
Oh my God, we know. Oh my God, we know.
Oh my God, shut up. I love Brick. He's like the best. He's the best. He's the man. I want him to do this forever. He's been, the voice of my childhood alongside Jack. And I just in the moment was like, dude, shut up. I know they've had a lot of scoring chances. Holy shit. They're just a frustrating watch right now. And people who I know who are normally Bruins fans are like, wow, I'm surprised how much I don't care this year. I'm like, well, I'm actually not surprised how much you don't care right now. And like you said, for a team that's in a playoff spot, that's just a testament to the product. You know, there's always just something going on where, you know, if they were right here, but they had two major injuries, let's say Chuck and Marshy were both down, and Pasta had 11 goals up to this point and was leading the league in points. I think this is a very entertaining team. And being in this spot, this is not a detrimental spot. This is not a hole by any. You're already in a playoff spot. You're not in a hole. It's just you look at the team and you're like, wow, you can't keep playing like this. This is not who you're supposed to be. It's just more of a tale of things to come. I will tell you this though. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to be okay. I just
it's so
don't
crazy
know.
that they are like a decent win streak away from like, oh, we're fine.
They will be totally fine. It's just a matter of I don't know. So, like you said, something changing. I can't tell you what that is. You got any ideas besides fire the coach?
I mean, nothing that's going to move the needle on its own. But yeah, I think Montgomery goes. Ty kind of echoed a point that is interesting to think about. How you shouldn't really appoint anyone behind that bench to head coach because like they all kind of suck right now. Like, is there anyone behind that bench like deserve to be the head coach? Which to me implies that it like kind of will default. It's probably to Jay Leach. Couldn't begin to say how qualified or unqualified he is. I just simply do not know enough. To me, it always feels like, always when Chloe got fired and Bruce came in, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. But then they started winning. I'm like, cool. And then when Bruce got fired and Montgomery came in, I'm like, I don't really know who this guy is. And they won all the games. I was like, cool. Like, I feel like I don't need to know who it is. Just bring somebody in and we'll see how it goes. Kick the tires.
We'll love him. We'll love him for 2 years.
But yeah, I my concern is that they're going to bring someone in who doesn't use the youth that well. Because I more specifically concerned about continuing the trend of burying Matt Patra, that carrying over into the new coach. Because I think they should be doing the opposite. I think he should be getting more time with Pasternak and Marchand, or even Zaka and Pasternak. I don't know. Again, like this is all just like me throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it would stick. But I think Patra coming up is something that you kind of have to do if you want to be getting back on track. Again, not in and of itself going to fix anything. I think it's just a step you need to take. I'm curious how much is going to happen mid-season, like now. I think you could fire the head coach right now, but I think the idea of like you cleaning house, like Don, Jim, Cam, that feels too much. Not to say I do or do not want it. It just feels like that would be a lot to do in November. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the sentiment among the fans more than ever is that not only should Montgomery go, but he is going. And like you said, it's like a 5-1 loss on home ice to the Blue Jackets where you barely showed up at all. Like what are you waiting for? Like what would need to happen? What game has to occur in what way for it to end and then be like, that's it. He's done.
Probably like a 5-1 loss to the Blue Jackets.
Well, hoping that doesn't happen again, we should be fine. You get one mulligan.
I mean, hold on. Let me pull up the graphic that we just tweeted. Because this is supposed to be the stretch where
we're getting back on track.
They get back on track. 10 games. Only one of these teams over the next 3 weeks or so is over 500. So 1 down, 9 to go, 0 points taken off the board so far. If it's the Habs, if it's like the Centennial game on December 1st,
they just get waxed.
If they get waxed in the Centennial game, and look like dog shit and like their discipline is bad. I think that's the big thing. I think it's like that's what the guys upstairs would care about, is just showing like a lack of discipline. If they do that,
They have no discipline.
I know. But I'm saying if it just continues to get worse and worse, and
I don't even think that's like still 13 days away. I still think that's too far. I think if you want to like really get back on track, you got to do it sooner rather than later. Like if they are hoping that the coaching change would be a bit of a Hail Mary, I think that would need to occur before Thanksgiving. They're still in the playoff spot. Yes, they're teetering. They're playing in a sub-average division for the first time this year. It's not impossible to get back out of this, but I think if they want to become the team that they believe they can, I think big changes need to happen soon. I think waiting till December 1st is still waiting too long.
How about this? Utah Hockey Club, followed by the Detroit Red Wings, are the next two games. November 21st and 23rd, respectively. They drop both of those. I go to like 90% it's going to happen any second now train.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm already at a pretty high percentage, I think with every subsequent loss, it just keeps increasing. Again, I know I was asking it rhetorically, and I'll ask it rhetorically again, but I am curious, like literally, like what is the bottom for the front office in terms of like Montgomery? Like what is their like spoken or unspoken limit, threshold, whatever, where they're like, that's too much, this is happening too much. And what sucks is like Monty's still a great coach. Like this isn't Monty's fault, not singularly. And it sucks because like I talk about how the offense isn't there. It's like they're not very stacked offensively. Like they don't have a lot of threats outside of like their top six, which even that is like you're kind of still really hoping that Brad Marchand like has another couple seasons in him to like be Brad Marchand. And I think we're seeing maybe he doesn't. So it sucks that
Brad
like Montgomery
hearing the footsteps of Father Time.
All right, shut the fuck up. But talking about like how Montgomery, like he will go somewhere else and he will do an excellent job. That's almost a certainty. It's just he doesn't have, I mean, to echo the video you sent me where it turned into complaining about the 2015 draft, saying that Montgomery can only work with what's been given him. That's true. That is a factual
What he's been
statement.
given is a roster that everybody projected to be a very good team.
Yes. However, in retrospect, were we too bullish on them, especially offensively? I think
they went and got Elias Lindholm, and he hasn't done jack dick.
No, he hasn't.
David Pastrnak hasn't been what he's expected to be. Brad Marchand is getting up there and had 3 surgeries, so he wasn't whatever. Charlie Coyle, the pressure came off him. You don't have to be the 1C, you can be the 2C. And granted, I'm picking on the one guy who did score tonight, but he doesn't look like a 2C. Like
nobody on this team looks good. Nobody on this team looks good. Nobody on this team looks good.
Nobody is playing to their potential. If everybody was playing at 90% of their potential, this team would be very, very good.
You've lost your most consistent player in Hampus Lindholm for 6 weeks. Mark Kastelik is out, and he's a bit of an anchor for your bottom 6. You sent Matt Patra to a gulag.
For reasons unknown.
I'm just lost with this team right now, more than I have been before. And again, I've been very privileged in me watching the Bruins that I haven't really watched them struggle too hard. Like those 2 seasons we mentioned where they missed the playoffs weren't great in 15 and 16. Those were frustrating. Like losing the game in the regular season that means you don't make the playoffs. That sucked big time.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it hurting to watch this much. And for it to just, I keep using the word chore because that's how it feels to be a Bruins fan right now. It feels like I have to tune in. It feels like I'm forced to watch the 60 minutes. and be like, why am I like? And then oh shit, they're down 3-0 in the first period to Columbus on home ice. It's like, yeah, of fucking course they are. Like obviously they are, because that's what's going to happen.
Minus 240 favorites.
Yeah, it's
in the money
when
line
you texted me that they were like minus 260 something. I was like, no. Like they're probably like, I would still say they were the favorites, but like no. Like
I saw that line and I was like, the Blue Jackets are a good money line value bet. I'm not gonna do it, but if I had a brain, I might have.
I wouldn't have judged you.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Shake it up. Let's shake it up. Let's shake things up.
Fire him.
I'm not saying that. Let's shake things up.
Joseph, would you care to expand on that?
I think a change in leadership could go a long way.
Are you talking about stripping the sea?
I wasn't.
Oh, I made a change in leadership to me means changing the captaincy.
If you want to run that with that and make a headline.
No,
Joe,
you know how I feel about
podcast.
rage bait and engagement bait to begin with. I refuse to be the anchor of it.
Could the Bruins?
Is Brad Marchand's captaincy coming to an end?
You just named our YouTube video, so thanks for that.
If you fucking name it that.
No, you know what I was
I'm deleting our Twitter account. What?
I was going to name it, is Taylor Hall coming back to the Bruins?
That's just as bad. It's because you picked something that like we didn't even talk about.
Is every episode of every show on this channel going to be titled "The Bruins are in trouble"? The Bruins need to fix something. Are the Bruins going to fire Montgomery? Is this rock bottom? Is this the turning point? Why do the Bruins suck? Here's what's wrong with the Bruins.
These are all good titles that never lose their value. No, you're right.
Never lose our value?
So those are good titles that never lose their value. They only appreciate. No, I'm kidding. I get it. I get it.
I don't know.
That's your business. I just do the tweeting.
Well, if you want to see the tweeting, you can follow us at bearwithme_pod. You can follow me at Joey Copponi. It's
the highlight of the season so far. Is just the fact that we may be going through this, but we're all going through it together. We're all miserable together.
Yeah, whatever, man.
So come follow us on Twitter. We'll make jokes about it. It's fun.
You can follow us at bearwithme_pod. You can follow me at Joey Copponi. You can follow him at Rob Tocci. And you can also subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe and rate us on Apple Pods. Follow on Spotify or whatever you do over there. We appreciate you guys listening. Although it's been a tough season, our listenership's been going up. So we appreciate you guys for coming on board. Welcome along, all the new listeners. Man, I just want to get, you know what? I'm going to say this into the microphone right now, record it so that we have to hold ourselves to it. Next episode is going to be a fucking fun one, okay? And we're going to talk about fun stuff. We're going to joke around. We're going to have a good old bear with me episode. We're not going to get on here and be like, oh, man, I don't know what's wrong with this team. I wanted to do that for this episode, but losing to the Blue Jackets, I think that's enough to give us a pass.
And not giving and recording immediately after the game ends. So there's no like, I'll sleep on it. It's like, I'm coming in here with terrible energy. Yeah,
it was maybe 7 minutes from the final whistle too.
Maybe.
Yeah. So forgive us for that. But next episode, we're just coming in. And if they lose both of these games that we're going to talk about, which is the Utah Hockey Club and the Detroit Red Wings, then we're just going to get on here. We're going to talk about movies or something. We're going to talk about favorite Thanksgiving sides and shit. We're just
I would love a movie podcast. I've been pushing for us to do a movie podcast.
Well, watch better movies.
I watched Collateral.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Okay. Thanks for following along. We will see you after these thrilling games against the Utah Hockey Club and the Detroit Red Wings. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being our friend. Thanks for being there for us when we need you. Most of all, thank you for
bearing with me. Collateral is an okay movie.